Remember this critter? It's the Grabsnout from my film Report from the Goric Zone, and in this video I'll talk about how it was made. Specifically, I'll talk about using reverse sculpting to make odd-looking shapes for puppets. I think this is a technique that can be applied to a number of projects with a bit of ingenuity. Though appearances might be deceiving, I'm not quite delving into sex toy fabrication just yet. This medium-grade monster clay shape will be our sculpting base for the perforated tail of the Grabsnout. The principle is extremely simple. Instead of adding clay to a sculpture, you sculpt in reverse by taking away clay in very precise shapes. I'm using only loop tools for this particular purpose, but very interesting shapes can also be created by poking tools into the clay, as you shall see in a moment. This particular canal will become the spine of the puppet. To make bony protuberances, I'm using the back of brush handles, pressing them into the clay with varying degrees of force. When I'm happy with the look of the spine, I'm moving on to making the snaky shapes that will make up the perforated tail. And so I'm about halfway there. I'm digging quite deep with the loop tool to make the shapes very prominent. Again, I'm using the thinner brush handle to make a few bumps and warts around the spine, and decorating the snaky tail shapes with lines of bumps as well. These will be the most visible shapes on the tail structure. The sculpture is finished, and I'm now using a pipe cleaner to apply tinted latex into the indentations in the clay. This will create the latex skin for the puppet's tail. The latex sticks quite well to the monster clay. You could also use air drying clay for your reverse sculptures, which would create a sculpture with more plaster-like qualities and a surface that the latex would grab hold of faster. I put 2 layers of latex into the clay indentations. Besides using pipe cleaners, I'm also using a pointy sculpting tool to reach into the more delicate details. I need to reinforce the latex skin in the clay matrix before removing the skin, so I'll use thin polyurethane foam soaked in latex for that. I have a plastic tray with a slick surface. I also have some very thin polyurethane medical pads bought from a local drugstore. I use these for all sorts of padding work on my puppets. You get several hundred in a package, so they really last for a bit. They're perfect for building up very soft shapes. So the process is very simple. I just cut out a bit of foam, lay it down on the tray and dab it with latex using a sponge. I dab both sides and then use a hairdryer, or as in this case a heat gun on a low setting to speed up the latex drying process. Now I have a bit of foam with almost clay-like properties. I can easily shape it into what I want. In this case, it's long, thin sausages. I dip my fingers in tinted latex and give each sausage a dab. Liquid latex is then painted into the latex castings in the clay matrix. The foam sausages are pressed down into the shapes. The liquid latex will bond the foam with the latex skin and create a soft but stable shape that won't collapse into itself when removed from the clay. And so on we go until all of the major clay canals have been filled up. But we still have the shorter connecting bits between the longer shapes, and I'm using thin unrolled strips of foam to fill out these. I'm using the brush handle again to press the foam down, folding it over so it'll stay inside the clay canal shapes. And the tinted latex is then applied over this. Finally, the spine section is getting some foam reinforcement as well. Now it's time to pluck the latex skin from out of the clay matrix. I'm just giving the spine section a light dab of talcum powder so it won't fold over and stick to itself. The rest of the latex skin looks pretty okay. Then I simply pull off the latex casting, pretty much like a banana peel. And there we have it. It'll need some minor trim work, but basically it comes out the way I wanted it to look. And that was actually what I wanted to talk about in this video, but I'll go over the rest of the puppet construction quickly. This is the spine, or the tail armature. It's 3 lengths of aluminum wire bundled together with soft yarn. It's dabbed with tinted latex, and then it's attached to the latex tail skin using liquid latex as a bonding agent. This hard polyurethane ball will become the head of the Grabsnout. A steel wire has been stuck through it and bent into a few shapes that will provide attachment points for the snout and the spine. There's also a T-nut attachment point for my flying rig. Cotton and tinted latex are used to provide a surface for the later latex skin textures. And here's the head again, with a few more parts stuck to it. The snout, which is an aluminum wire with smaller wires, tentacles, attached to it, and a thermoplastic shape created for making a dental silicone mold around a seashell and then pressing down the plastic into the mold. This whole thing will then be covered with various bumpy latex skin pieces. It's time to stick the head to the tail. Polymorph thermoplastic is used. As you can see, both the head and the tail have been given a paint job. I've used tinted latex of various shades and dry brushed the color on. Liquid latex is used to attach those loose snaky bits to the head. I'm using a funny looking plastic button as the eye of the creature and attaching it to the head with a blob of thermoplastic. And a bit of cotton and latex then goes over the plastic, and a bit of paint, of course. The final details I'll add are those small scrapbooking half pearls. I think they'll make a nice addition to the rather repulsive looking body. Maybe they're extra sets of eyes, who knows. I'm sticking them on with fast setting super glue. And here's our finished Grabsnout, ready to prowl the skies of the Goric zone.